Welcome back, everyone. Monica Bozinov and Simon Severino in the house. This week in the Sprint Club, we asked the question from 1 to 10, how much are you committed to being the sales engine of your business? If you think of your day, how many hours per day do you put into prospecting, into building prospecting systems, into closing, into building scalable closing systems? And that question stopped us in our track because when we start a business, when we go on our own, we implicitly make that commitment. But today, let's review your commitment with yourself. From 1 to 10, how much are you committed to driving sales today? And if it's a 6 or a 7 or a 5 or a 4, what do you need? Who do you need to be to drive that to a 10?
And I would even, 1 to 10, I would even say, don't just think it, feel it. So whenever you have that number, bring it into your body and see, is there a coherence between what you're thinking and how you feel about it? Because that's where we find the discrepancy, right? Because I don't feel like doing this today. And now the commitment goes down. So honest 1 to 10. Not just what you think it is, but actually how it feels. And that number is where we have to work.
Oh, great point. So we need to ask ourselves this question multiple times during the day, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
can be
And be
fully
honest.
committed now and then land on Instagram for an hour.
Yes. That's not commitment.
Talking about a friend, of course.
Yes.
The
I think I know him.
the reason I bring this up is sometimes I am super committed and I say I'm gonna do this, and then I land somewhere else, right? And I'm creating content instead of doing sales. So that's why in front of me I have this new friend here, which is my strategic action calendar, where I have to actually mark it here and I see if I'm losing track, if I'm getting distracted again. And so whatever is important, 4 things, I write them down here, and then I will see if I'm actually on them or not, so that my commitment to my 4 things becomes visible in
Yeah.
front of me. It gets a it becomes embodied. It has a physical existence in front of me. It has a body, so I see it. And I cannot lie to myself that easily anymore.
Yes. Because self deception is very, very easy. We all do it. We all do it all the time, right? So we have to find ways to stop ourselves in our track. And so a physical thing, it can be a person, it can be something that pulls you back into reality and makes you do that reality check. Did I actually do those things? And for me, like one of those 4 things for me is outreach. I chose 1 outreach a day because that's a number that's so easy that I can beat it. So that for me becomes sort of a gamification, right? I can do more than one. And now I beat my goal. And then I get that energy surge.
When the ball is rolling, it's easier to continue rolling, and you can still do 3, 4 on that
Yeah.
day. On the other side, if you pick 25, that is almost, it's highly probable that this it's going to break you, because your subconscious will feel, oh my god, I'm failing.
And it's too hard. And it's no fun.
What's happening in the body? What is the stress mechanism there?
Mhm. So the commitment to finding something, and I, like, over the years, I have tried so many different things. And I had to find something that worked for me. And for me, gamification, making things fun and urgent really works for me. Uh, Focusing on importance, mm, consequence, not so much. So you have to find your own I mean, I know you like to make things fun. So we have to commit to finding the thing that works and then stick with it and remembering why we do it.
Let me read from one chapter from a book. After we discussed this on Monday, I was reading this book and it's about commitment to yourself. So this is about a coach called Steve Hardison, and it's a snippet from his life. Commitment. Steve was picking up a few things from the grocery store when his phone rang. The caller introduced himself. We will call him William. William said, I want you to be my coach. You'll have to wait and get in line, replied Steve. It was not the response William expected. Steve asked William what prompted him to call. William knew one of Steve's clients. He had seen his transformation. William wanted some of that. Again, he asked Steve to be his coach, upping the ante. He would fly him to Las Vegas in his personal jet so Steve could coach him in his home. He would pay triple Steve's usual fee. Sorry, I can be your coach. Why? First of all, I only coach in my office at my house. Second, because you want to own me. I am not ownable. William was intrigued. He saw enough of what was possible in working with Steve that he made a commitment to be in Steve's office on a specific date at a specific time with a check for $150,000. For Steve, it wasn't a done deal. He needed to make sure William's commitment was big enough to produce results. On the agreed upon date, at the agreed upon time, in Steve's office, Steve outlined for William what he would need to commit to if they were to work together. 1. Their work together must be the most important thing in William's world, not because he was working with him, but because they were working on William's life. Second, he must be in his office. They would agree on their schedule, and after that, their sessions had absolute priority over things that came up. Third, he must be open to what the coach says. Very likely, it would not be what William wanted to hear. Fourth, he must be willing to learn to love. Book is The Ultimate Coach, written by Amy Hardison and Ellen Thompson.
So that's about the coach telling their clients what they expect from their clients. Do we have the same approach to ourselves?
And making sure that before you begin your work, you have a checklist of things to find out if that work will produce results.
Mm-hmm.
When we start a business, we start it. We don't ask ourselves, what are the prerequisites that I expect from me? Will I do how many hours of prospecting every day? Will I learn sales? Will I enroll in sales trainings? Will I record my meetings so that they will get better? So that would be a whole set of things that you actually are committing to, but you just start a business. So let's see, let's hope. I feel this is the right thing. But you're not asking yourself, what are the conditions for success that need to be here so that this produces results, that this is alive, that this is sustaining?
But because I think most of us have no idea what it actually takes before we start,
If
right?
we knew it, would we even start it?
And then there's the bank wants a business plan. So you think that's something you need? Not all of the commitment to yourself and the prospecting and the sales plan. That is, I think for most of us, that hits us when we're deep into the trenches.
I saw this meme on X. We didn't start it because it was easy. We started it because we thought it was easy.
Yes. Self-deception once again. but that's like, okay, there are people that start a business with the sole purpose of making money. So they go like, how can I make money the easiest way possible?
Wrong way to start a business. Then go rob a bank.
Yeah. But most of us start because we, like, for me, it was, whoa, I really need to, the impact of this, I need to share this with people because I know it will change lives, right? And that is not very business savvy. And like the overwhelm I've been in, the realization of how little I know about what it takes that have hit me over the years. And then still, no, I choose to continue, but I need to up level. I choose to continue, but I need to up level. I need to change, right? But
What
making that active choice to commit.
you're describing a series of commitments, right?
Hmm.
Today I commit to review my commitment. Today
Hmm.
I commit to renew. So the first one is I commit to looking at my current status of being committed. That's the first big decision, actually, because it's painful. We know it, right?
Yes.
We could do, I don't know, an hour of Instagram instead of that. No, I commit now to looking at my own state of being committed. So the commitment to review. And then when I see it, oh, it's not a 10, it's something lower. Now I commit to make it a 10. So it's a
And
series of commitment.
yes, because it you find yourself not being as committed to the things that you promised yourself to be committed to. So now you have to re-engage that commitment. It's not that it goes away, but it gets lost in all of the other stuff.
Yeah. I
And
see it
making that, yeah.
I see it in the face of people. I'm a sales coach. So one of my questions is, okay, let's look at your sales pipeline number and tell me, is it green, yellow, red? You have to see the faces of business owners. They they turn pale. They're shocked that they have to look at their pipeline number because it wasn't the main thing they were thinking about for the whole week. And then they realize, oh, it's true. I have to check that.
Yes. And that creates the roller coaster, right? If you don't check your pipeline, you sell, you get clients, you serve the clients, and you lose. You're like, you're not aware of your pipeline drying out.
Yeah.
And no one ever started a business because they wanted a pipeline.
Nope. They started this because they thought it's easy.
Yeah.
It's quick money.
So recommitting to the commitment of those most important activities and being committed to really questioning yourself and your own activities. I mean, running a business is one of those, like, the highest levels of personal development there is if you actually commit to that.
There's there is a lot in what you just said. If you commit, there is a high level of excellence that comes with it. So you are renewing yourself from being you to being the excellent version of you. Now you're saying yes to the responsibility of it. You're saying yes to reviewing your commitment on a continuous basis, making sure that you come back to that. Yes, it's painful to look at the pipeline number in some weeks, and it's part of it, right? It's part of it, and being responsible for this means attacking it first, looking at it, and then finding creative ways to make it more fun, to make it more viable, to bring more um, vitality into it, to make it a, because what is a pipeline? A pipeline is just visualized relationships and your conversation with people. So it's you and your relationship to other people. That's a pipeline. It's why I don't like the word leads or prospects, not even pipeline, right? It's what is this thing? It's not so mechanical. It's
Yeah, but
people.
I like the way you do it in one of those tools, right? Where you the pipeline where you see the percentages.
Hmm.
I really like that one. That made it click for me that it could be there's a bit of a gamification in that,
Hmm. Yeah, you
right?
because you see the percentages.
Yes. That was something that I was like, oh, I have to talk to my person, my wing woman. Like, I need something like that that is that visual, because now every tiny step becomes a tiny victory. It becomes something that you like, a game that you won. Um, and I kind of like to win.
It's more fun than to lose.
Yes.
And it's hard to see the win if you don't have it in front of you in a visual way,
Hmm.
right? What is winning,
Hmm.
right? But you see, oh, 100% of this is winning. I'm at 20%. Okay, how can I get it to 25% today?
Hmm. Because if you can make all of the steps uh, winnable, I'm making up words, uh, instead of just getting the client. If the outreach is a win, if the answer is a win, if the first time in the calendar is a win, if that initial conversation is a win, and everything increases the momentum, now it's not just like craving that one closure of that one client, and all of your energy depends on that.
It's the next thing that creates stress. If you don't have enough deal opportunities in the pipeline,
Mhm.
then each one feels like life or death.
Yeah.
And then you get tense. You get tense in preparation of the meeting. You get tense during the meeting.
Mhm.
You don't explore enough options. The other side smells it immediately and the deal is gone.
Yeah. Desperation is very unattractive. Mhm.
And how can we back engineer to never get into that desperation territory? By having a pipeline that's has a little bit more than we need in terms. That's why we want a pipeline number. Because let's say your pipeline number is you need $150,000 in annual revenue. Now, when you see 160 there, you can relax and you know, okay, I'm in the healthy zone. It's green. If it gets to 120, you you see a yellow and you can do something about it. You don't have to wait until it gets even lower in the red zone because things change. The life of your buyers is changing radically, quickly, day to day, hour to hour. And so, of course, those things change. And you want to see it in real time, ideally every week, maybe even every day. I look at my pipeline every day for half an hour and move things forward in little steps. Thinking about those people, how are they feeling today? How is this affecting them? What's happening in the world? How can I help? Can I send something over that's valuable? Can I ask them if they need a conversation right now? And sometimes you say, oh my God, yeah, I'd love a conversation. I'm glad that you ask. And sometimes I get nothing back. That's the work, right? And sometimes if it's prospecting, you get a hard no. Like, who are you? Leave me alone. That's not a great feeling, but it's part of prospecting, right? And in the
And
deal
it's also
pipeline, people are
it's also a
usually
win.
happy to hear
Yeah,
you.
because if they don't like, now you can focus on the next thing. If you get that hard no, you just move on.
Yeah. On the positive side, you know, okay, let's move on. Next task.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so let's bring this back to what you read in that book. The coach asking the potential client, will you do this, 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 like all of these things? Show up in my office. Make this the most important. Learn to love. So we need to ask ourselves, what are what am I committing to with me? And then we need to stay on track with those things.
Yes.
Find a way to do it.
And most people listening, they love their service or their product, right? They love what they do. And so they are right now probably committing most of the day in either delivering the service to their client or to improving the product. Now you have committed to the product or service. But that's only half the commitment, because you have to commit to the distribution of the product or service too. Because you can have a fantastic product that is not a healthy situation yet. A healthy situation is distribution and product. So many listening, they commit a lot to improving the product today. How much do you commit to improving sales today? What are you improving in the sales process, in attention, in nurturing, in making them ready to buy, in closing, in activating, in expanding, and in referrals? In each of those stages, which one are you committing to improve today?
It's a
Because
lot. There are many steps.
there are many steps, you see? And that's why it's important to make it a daily ritual, to do something, a little step in one of the parts of your sales process.
Mhm.
Because otherwise, a month from now, you see them all at once, you see them all red, and that's tough. It's better to see it as a garden. Okay, this is my garden every day. I pass here and I give it a little bit of water here, a little bit of water here. I can't prune everything. Which tree do I prune today?
So this is what the support that this is the support that exists in strategy sprints with all of the tools.
That's what we do in weekly cycles, either group coaching or one-on-one. We do this daily gardening with founders, with teams. We look at their sales process, at all the elements, and say, okay, which one needs water today? Which one needs pruning today? What will we improve today? And then we
Okay,
get
so
building.
spring is coming. Anyone interested in sales gardening, reach out. Join strategy sprints. Let's have that conversation. Let's
All
make
right.
things grow.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next week. Bye bye.